The initial reaction to Donald Trump's victory was, to be honest, a lot of discontent from those in our movement, a lot of just despondent. But now what we're seeing is as Trump actually does stuff, and rightly people are infuriated because of it, we're seeing some pushback. I'm sure you've heard of that in town hall settings. We talked about Rich McCormick being brutally booed during his town hall and giving a really bizarre answer. But I want to show you now Trump reacting to the fact that there are, from one event to another, constituents coming out and saying, this is too much. We don't like the power that's been given to Elon Musk. We don't like the cuts that you're implementing. So before I show you Trump's reaction, let me get to the events that I'm talking about. But even before that, what are people upset about? Well, as an example, Chris Murphy posted, it's 4 a.m., still debating the Republicans' billionaire tax giveaway. We offered an amendment to say no tax cut for those making over $10 million. 10 mil. Every Republican voted no. So we tried $100 million. Hey, how about we don't cut taxes for people who are making over $100 million a year? Every Republican voted no. So we tried $500 million. And say it with me. Every Republican voted no. See what's going on? So while Elon Musk cuts programs, necessary programs that everyday Americans benefit from, his cohort is actively pushing through something that would exacerbate the problem they say they're supposed to be fixing, which is the debt problem, by adding more to the debt with these big tax cuts, and disproportionately doing so to help those at the very tip top. And when Democrats go, hey, if you don't want us to accuse you of that, we could amend this bill to say we're not going to do tax cuts for the ultra wealthy. And they say, no, that's the whole reason we're here, Chris. Come on, Chris. And with that being said, here is what Trump is going to be responding to.
Also last night, this was Republican Congresswoman Stephanie Bice of Oklahoma.
I'm a registered Republican voter and retired active Army officer. How can you tell me that DOGE, with some college whiz kids from a computer terminal in Washington, D.C., without even getting out into the field, after about a week or maybe two, has determined that it's okay to cut veterans' benefits?
I think a couple things. Let me give you an example. Did you know that the VA was in charge of payments for illegals for housing? Basically, the VA.
No, I'd like for you to send me. Could you send me that reference so I could research that? Because no, I'm not aware of that.
Great response. Yes.
And I would tell you that that's a red herring, a false flag. If you're throwing that kind of political stuff up, trying to cut veterans' benefits, that's very alarming to me.
A registered Republican voter, retired active Army officer. That is the kind of reaction these members are facing, even from Republican voters in Republican districts. This was the scene in West Bend, Wisconsin, with Republican Congressman Scott Fitzgerald. Watch.
When will you stand up to them and say that is enough?
The end result of the fraud and abuse that has been discovered already.
Absolutely no proof.
The look on his face. You heard absolutely no proof. Yes. I'm loving this energy. We're back, baby. His face is, oh, shoot. Yeah, that might work in your little Republican congressional meetings of, you know, we're finding all of this fraud and abuse, and so everything we do is justified. But people on the ground experiencing the impacts of your actions, they know better. And you know what's interesting? You know how we would always talk about the economic pain that came with the pandemic, the price increases, and even though the Biden administration was handling those things effectively, that doesn't mean that there wasn't a lot of pain, but that given what they inherited, there was an effective handling of it as compared to other countries, as compared to what the projections were. But the response often from MAGA, nope, I don't care, because people feel what they feel. People experience what they experience. And now they're going to very quickly not want to be hearing that. When people say, listen, you're going to say all these things. The red herring was a great reference. You're going to try to distract us with stuff. But we're feeling the impacts of your actions. Except in this case, unlike the misarticulation by so many of the inflation connection or lack thereof to the Biden administration policies, there will actually be here a really direct through line between what it is the Republicans are doing and the pain that people are feeling in their life. There is the causation there. And Trump was asked about it. And you probably can't think of a more absurd response to his response to the backlash that now the Trump administration is hearing and that defenders of the Trump administration are hearing across the country. Please do click that subscribe button if you appreciate this show.
Some members of Congress in red districts are facing pushback from voters in town halls. We know that Americans voted for you on immigration and the economy, but these voters say they're angry and frustrated by these firings. They don't like the work of Elon Musk and these other actions. What do you say to them?
Who do you work for?
I work for ABC News, sir.
Who?
ABC News.
No wonder. let me just tell you that I have today the highest poll numbers.
I'm so sick of these people who are in the room and they laugh. It must be Brian Glenn, Marjorie's boyfriend, who's a reporter, and he'll, if you ever got to his face when Trump says anything, he's yes, that's my dad. I mean, my man.
That I have today the highest poll numbers I've ever had. I have today the highest poll numbers of any Republican president ever. We haven't even checked the Democrats, but that's what I was just told. And they like the job that we're doing. They like the job that Elon's doing. He's doing something that a lot of people wouldn't have the courage to do.
You know the whole power of positive thinking thing? I do that sometimes, you know. You wake up, you're feeling sort of grumpy, you look in the mirror, you say, you are strong. You are handsome. This is your day. Own the day. Kill it, Luke. And then you get really uncomfortable and embarrassed, even though no one's there, that you're talking to yourself in the mirror. You know that? Yeah, but except Trump's doing that in front of the world delusionally. I don't think the power of positive thinking thing carries over to just making up stats. Like, I'm the most popular Republican president ever. You know, after 9/11, that Bush's approval rating got up north of 90%. And there was a fact check on this from Mediaite saying Trump tells massive whopper about his sagging. So much sagging going on and drooping of his approval rating. Highest poll numbers of any Republican president ever, he says. And as they note, this is grossly overstating his and Musk's popularity. In reality, according to polls released this week, Trump's approval rating is net negative, as CNN showed his favorable to unfavorable at 47% to 52%, and Washington Post showed 45% to 53%. The Post survey also showed that 58% oppose Musk's widespread federal layoffs, just 34% approve of his role in the Trump administration. So when Trump says of the constituents that are upset, PO'd at Trump, at Musk, and his response to them is, no, you're not. That's not, no, I don't believe you. You love me. You love me. You love me. Trump, love, Trump, love. You can't hypnotize us, Donald. The facts are what they are, which is that people are already fed up. Why we allowed him to get into office in the first place, why America decided that, it's a whole different conversation. But now seeing even the preliminary impacts of such a decision, a lot of people are having regrets. A lot of people are upset with him. And I should note that Trump actually has the lowest approval rating of a president at this point in their presidency, which is notable because a lot of times you come in with a much higher approval rating and it can drop unless certain events push it up. It kind of steadily drops throughout your administration as more and more people find something to take issue with. But he, except for himself the first term, has the lowest. Except for himself, who set the record for when someone entered office that first go round. And while he only says positive things publicly about Elon Musk, apparently privately, he also gets the ick What the F is wrong with that guy? Trump reportedly shocked by Elon Musk's appearance. What about his appearance? According to Wolf, Trump said of Musk after the incident where in Butler, Elon Musk jumped up and down. You might remember this photograph. And no comment from me on that. But after that, he said, what the F is wrong with this guy? And why doesn't his shirt fit? Why is his belly button coming out? I don't want to see belly buttons at political rallies. I guess that's Trump's stance. And then the author of this book was very much negatively responded to by the Trump administration, as you can imagine. But apparently even Trump gets weirded out a little bit. I do want to show you from this same precedent an extremely cringy moment where someone, let's see, this is Lutnick, was talking about how amazing Trump is. And just get ready. Just get ready, okay? Because you might get nauseous.
First, I'd like to thank you, President Trump. It is the greatest honor to work for you, to be with you, to carry your name, your leadership, and your flag throughout the world. The press has no idea who the gentleman to my left is. They portray him in all sorts of ways, but I know him as the smartest, most thoughtful, and most intuitive person I've ever met. And it's amazing to be in this room and to work for him.
Trump is looking uncomfortable. Even Trump's uncomfortable with what Mr. Lutnick is saying there. Mr. President, I came here today, Mr. President, to tell you that I love you. Mr. President, do you know what it's like to love another man? Do you know what it's like to both wish that you were someone and wish that someone could cradle you? The very same. Mr. President, do you know what it's like? Mr. President, do you know what it's like to cuddle a body pillow with your face on it? Do you know what that's like, Mr. President? Do you know my body? People don't know. People don't know you like I know you. Mr. President, people don't know how you cuddle. Well, it's not you, but it's your body pillow. People don't know what you're like in our bed that you don't know that we share. Do you know what that's like, Mr. President? Do you know what it's like to okay, you get the point. It's so cringy. Stop. I hate when they do this. Trust me. Behind the scenes, trust me. Everything you've ever heard about him is wrong. And if you just knew him behind closed doors, you'd know he's a great guy. He's a great guy. He never shows that publicly, but he's a great guy. Just trust Mr. Lutnick. Then you had this moment.
Germany has elections on Sunday. What are your thoughts? What do you expect to happen in the elections on Sunday?
Who has elections?
Germany.
Oh, Germany. I wish them luck. We got our own problems. Bye, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, press.
Oh my gosh. Look at Lutnick. Jaden, throw yourself on screen. Everyone, look. Jaden can be on screen now.
I have a camera.
You know, I'm not in a relationship right now, but has your girlfriend ever looked at you like that before?
Unfortunately, no.
Wow, that is the face of true joy right there. Oh, Lutnick. I cannot imagine thinking that was that perfect. Look at how the room reacts. This is so culty.
Bye, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, press.
You just saw.
I love you. Wow. That's something. Well, on the German elections, Associated Press reports German opposition leader Friedrich Merz's conservatives were on course for a lackluster victory in an election Sunday, while Alternative for Germany nearly doubled its support. The strongest showing for a far-right party since World War II, projections showed. And Chancellor Olaf Scholz conceded defeat for his center-left Social Democrats after what he called a bitter election result. So what ended up happening there is that conservatives won, but you had huge gains for the far-right party. As was mentioned there, the strongest showing since World War II, since the Nazis. One other little weird thing. Midas Touch posted about this. Is Trump's administration simply funneling money into Fox with this ad campaign? How is running English-speaking ads about the border on Fox News going to send a message to migrants? And apparently there was an announcement about how the Trump administration is spending $200 million to run an ad to tell migrants not to come to the United States. But they're running it on they're running it on Fox News. I don't know if I'm not going to overgeneralize, but no migrants watch Fox News. I'm not going to overgeneralize, but not a single one watches Fox News. Undocumented immigrants, not even. Actually, it's people in other countries who are thinking about migrating to the United States. Very few are going to be watching Fox News in English.
I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump, for securing our border, for deporting criminal illegal immigrants, and for putting America first. President Trump has a clear message for those that are in our country illegally. Leave now. If you don't, we will find you, and we will deport you. You will never return.
You know what's interesting? They all made fun of Kamala Harris when she went to some country south of the border and said the notorious, "Do not come. Do not come." That, as you can imagine, that soundbite has been used in a lot of ways. But here, now that's what Kristi Noem is doing. Just, hey, nah, don't think about it. And I don't know what it accomplishes. Talk about waste. Talk about government waste to spend $200 million to tell, let's be honest, a bunch of old white guys not to come if they're a migrant. I don't think that's accomplishing. It's just virtue signaling so that those dudes, and more people watch Fox News than that, I know, but it's an archetype, so that those older gentlemen can feel like Trump is doing something. Fox News would be the last place to get that message to the people that you're wanting to get it to. So maybe it's not about getting it to the people that they say they want to get it to. Share your thoughts in the comments, support the show, get the members only bonus show by clicking that join button below.